I heard someone say once that people are the product of their past. Then I also heard other people say, even scholars, that people are a product of their environment. Historians say you are a product of your time. And all of these three statements are factual. I mean, if you are born in a region where, let's say you're born in the south of France, then what you learn by your environment is the dialect, the French dialect that's being spoken in that society. And if you're born in that region into a poor household where people have a lot of stress, that stressful environment is going to affect the development of your brain. It's also going to develop your coping skills. And those coping skills will become a kind of a personality that you use to avoid pain. Now, if you were born in the same region, but with a family that had plenty, where there was no stress, then your development will be a bit different. So, it is true you are a product of your time. I mean, if you would be alive in the 1930s and you would be living in, let me say, in Japan, there was a lot of imperialism in Japan, so you would have developed some kind of attachment to Imperial Japan, because there were foreigners in Japan, don't get me wrong, but most of the time you would not even see or be in contact with foreigners. So the only thing you would know were other Japanese people and what the Japanese media would tell you. So yes, you are a product of the time you're born, that you grow up in, and you're also a product of your environment. We all understand it. Even if you grow up in a lovely household, if later you work at a workplace that's oppressive, that is going to affect you, despite that your boss was quite calm. Why am I mentioning this? Because you need to understand, over time you've developed what I call mental reflexes. For example, if someone says the F word or the S word, you tend to be shocked. Why? Because when you were a kid growing up, when you heard people use the F word, you saw other adults becoming upset, and you saw social consequences being applied. And this happened over time, and you became attached to that programming that the F word is wrong and their consequences need to come. So every time you hear the F word now, you have this mental reflex that operates. And you confuse that reflex as who you really are. And you tend to say, I don't like the F word, I don't like profanity. What has happened? A reflex was built in you by your environment, and you identify with that reflex. Means you think that reflex is you, but it's not really you. But nevertheless, you do act out that reflex, and you do have the ability to not act out. But you feel as if not acting out the reflex is being hypocritical. But here's the thing, that reflex is just a reflex that was built inside of you by your social conditioning, and you defend that conditioning, and you're willing to cut people off, to become violent because of it, and you think you're defending something noble. No, it's just a reflex. Why am I mentioning all of this? This is not a psychology class. That's not what I'm doing here. I want to bring awareness to you that you were the product of your time, the environment, and of course also the past. Alright? I'm not saying this to bind you. I'm saying this to keep you aware. Because look, when you were growing up, you learned to comply with your environment. You learned to comply with your parents in order to get food, to get shelter. You learn to comply with others in order to have people that want you around, because if people don't want you around, well, there's going to be friction. So you learned how to comply. You learned how to get along with others. You learned, your environment has built reflexes in you. Some reflexes are praised, others are discouraged. Some people are very defensive, that's the reflex. Others, well, they just tell you whatever you want to hear. Others just throw out the whole content of how they're thinking, and they don't care what it does to other people. There's also reflex. Let's say there are practical reflexes that were built into you. For example, you say, good morning, good afternoon, may I enter a place. And that works, that it generates a comfortable environment. So when people at workplaces say hello, good morning to one another, it generates a welcoming environment, that it creates a welcoming climate that will benefit the people that work there. So I'm not going to attack you because you develop reflexes over time. But understand this, not all reflexes are beneficial. And remember, it's just a reflex. All right? So it's not just, okay, let me say it like this. There were things you learned while growing up. Not only while growing up, also when you socialized on the workplace, when you were an adult, there were things you received that were practical. But you need to evaluate what you've received. You need to. There are a lot of people who just don't want to evaluate things. Some things, they appear so noble and they appear so good because, well, your environment validates that thinking. And because most of the people around you are part of the environment, you will feel as if that is the reality. Okay, let me give an example. Some people have anxiety issues. Why? They were told never to bother other people and allow people to be relieved. That's what it comes down to. So whenever they notice things in the environment that didn't add up, and they mention things, people will say to them that you have to mind your own business, and you had people that became violent towards them because they so-called bothered with other people's business. So they were programmed and conditioned to ignore warning signals when something was wrong in the environment. And to avoid, because they were conditioned to associate talking about warning signals in the environment with punishment, because that's what they received. So they develop this personality that they don't mind other people's business. So-called other people's business, even though it happens in the environment and it affects everyone, they develop this personality that you should never bother with other people's business. You should leave people alone. And that's the attitude to go through with life. They want to be left alone. And they expect others to do the same with them. And they think they are good. They think they're all right. They think they're doing the right thing. They think they're civil. No, they've been conditioned, and they are giving themselves over to that conditioning, and they're avoiding they are avoiding responsibility. Because look, I understand that you're not willing to get involved with all the affairs around you. If you have a husband and a wife that are quarreling inside your house, well, they chose to marry one another, so, well, they have to figure it out. But if in public you notice that the husband is looking angry all the time, if he's about to lash out, and his wife is just allowing it to happen and pretend it's not happening, look, that's dangerous, because that man obviously has mental problems. And that man is around, people allow him to be there, so it needs to be addressed. So if you say, I mind my own business, what are you then doing? You are avoiding your collective accountability to your environment. Because you are contributing to your environment. Am I saying now that you have to step out to the man and tell him, look, dude, you look a bit angry. You need to go, you need some help. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm not even telling you to confront the man. But at least you can be aware and acknowledge that something isn't right here. I mean, look, what I want to say in this recording has become a bit long. That wasn't my intention. Just evaluate your way of thinking. Evaluate it. The New Testament tells us to test all things and retain the good. Unfortunately, many don't do this. Many don't do this, and that's very dangerous. Just look at the big picture. All right? About that example of that couple that's in public, you do understand that I mean that you have to be alert about your surroundings, right? I'm not telling you to get involved in everything. No. If you have two people who are hiding from the crowd and they're around the bush, discuss something that it can be they're selling drugs or discussing illegal things. I'm not telling you to walk on towards them and begin to address them because they may have a gun with them or they may freak out. So understand this. I'm not telling you to get involved with everything. But this whole mentality that people won't be left alone, they have their so-called private space, even though it affects everyone in the community. That mindset is a crappy mindset. A lot of people complain when bad fruits are manifesting, but they don't look and acknowledge that they often are the ones watering the roots. Don't water the root if you're not willing to deal with the fruit. If you don't want to eat the fruit, don't water the root. That's it for now. Again, evaluate your way of thinking. Be at peace. Shalom.